We were able to dodge the first series of not having a Sven. Unfortunately, we'll get it picked up in this second series though. So TNC just one of the better carries going around at the moment. We'll see how Fnatic are really able to deal with this Sven. It doesn't feel like there's much though.
10 seconds remaining.
No, I mean, Viper is a pretty good way to deal with it. Pango as well, actually, just to be able to silence him up. And Mirana, most often than not, likes to go something like a Yule Scepter. Useless against his Sven. Leaping away, useless against his Sven. So, yeah, I'm pretty keen to see how TNC are going to... Fnatic are going to be able to respond to this one. How are they going to counter Sven? It would have to be things that, like building a Blink Dagger, just so that you're able to disjoint when he tries to stun in, go all Superman mode on top of you.
Yeah, I'm intrigued how they want to try and what they want to go in the offlane as well, because you kind of want a stun setup with the Mirana, just potentially having a kill threat to deal with the support. I mean, killing this Ven might be a little bit difficult in that laning stage, but if they do have an offlane that's going to be able to provide them with some control, can set up for the Mirana, then just makes it easier as the game goes on to set up for these ganks as well.
TNC Predators.
You go for the Centaur. So it's... Well, you take a look TNC, I mean, Viper probably picks up an Atos, but there's not a lot of control. You got the Rolling Thunder, you got the Stormhammer, but just being able to disengage with this, you know, Centaur Stampede and kind of reset the fight, though.
I'm liking the Omni Knight, though. Sven's probably the best hero that you combine together with, just because you're able to trade so effectively with being a strength hero. You're probably not going to die. You're using your purification so that it's like a... It's effectively like 180 HP trade. You know, you're healing for 90, they're taking 90. And then you've just got your Heavenly Grace that you're skilling up, which gives extra strength and HP regen. Sven loves both of those things, so he's going to be able to look to dominate and try and get kills, I would think, at around the level 3 mark in this bottom lane here for
10
TNC.
seconds remaining.
Top lane, sorry, they're on Dire.
I'm a big fan of the Morphling getting picked up, though.
5
It's
seconds
always
remaining.
so strong against the Omni Knight, whether the Omni's a core or not. If it's a core, then the lane's pretty much free. If it's still, regardless, the Omni Knight just being able to provide that purification, the Heavenly Grace to the Morphling, it can just make fights so much more easier to play into. And again, they don't have a lot of stuns to be able to find him before he gets that attribute shift off. So his lane, also you see the Ogre Magi, a very kind of pretty decently strong position 5. He's going to be able to tank up a lot of the damage early. If this is a Viper 3 though, we'll see how much pressure Viper can put on if he gets that 2 points in poison attack before the Morphling hits the level 3. I guess Morph probably still has waveform to provide some distance, but Viper, if it is in the offlane, really needs to put a lot of pressure on in the early levels to pressure out the Morphling.
Yeah, and I think assuming this is going to be a Pangolier in the pos 4 role, you're going to be able to do that. You know, you're just going to be able to spam, shove that wave in, get your levels earlier than the Morphling. And very nice ban coming out. I was actually going to say OD would be the perfect pick for TNC to round this out, because you're not lacking on damage. You can just rush an Ags, and there's really no way to kill anyone with the amount of saves that they've got. Like, what's that? You get arrowed, Heavenly Grace, or Astral, you know? Sven, just buff him up further. Save yourself. Pop a Sanity's Eclipse on a Morphling that might be super squishy. So I think that's a perfect ban coming through from Fnatic. Really nice homework being done by them.
See what they're looking for here. I mean, they got the 23rd pick for Fnatic, so not this ultra loss, which is going to limit what they can play in the mid lane. I mean, you've got maybe some flexibility in the Mirana. We don't really see Mirana play mid at all. I've seen it a couple times. So more than likely we'll see Mirana on the 4, but depending on what they want to give Moon at the moment.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, again, not a lot of control. You see the Storm, the Death Prophet actually getting banned out, so just a hero that they're able to mobilize around and take objectives. They pick up the Wind Ranger, so this is actually what you brought up, the Wind Ranger versus the Viper. If it is the mid lane matchup, then Wind Ranger's going to have a pretty good time with that right-click damage.
Yeah, it just forces them into something a little bit different. I mean, yeah, it would have to be the Wind Ranger mid. Maybe a Lina? No, an Invoker, okay. Yeah, I suppose that's fine. You know, you're able to get rid of the Windrun if you're on point with your either your Yules or Tornado combination. So I don't mind it. I think it should be pretty okay for TNC. Just based off the draft, I'm probably favoring them so far, just because Sven Omni, fantastic combination. Tim's Pangolier, it's one of his staples, and I don't think the Wind Ranger against the Invoker is going to be as much of a winning matchup as Fnatic want it to be.
Also an RML Classic as well, so we'll see how he's going to play on it. and the combo with I guess you've already brought up the Sven Omni Knight. It's one of the best at the moment going around. Sven probably the top 3 best position ones at the moment, and we see KP
10
just on
seconds remaining.
the cheeky little Viper in the offlane, which we've seen every game so far
5 seconds
that we've
remaining.
started off with the BTS Pro Series. So this is going to be a nice one to continue on our second series of the night.
Man, surely they changed these lanes around. Like, DJ on this Ogre will be able to do nothing against the Viper. Like, you're just going to slowly run at him and then get poison attacked. You know, it's going to be pretty rough. I think maybe they might opt to go for a tri-lane or even just switch the lanes entirely.
Can they... Do you think Fnatic defensive try? Or would you rather them aggro?
It's so hard to say. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like if you're able to get on top of this Viper before he's able to get those first levels, so yeah, maybe having jabs up there with DJ first, and you know, even if you might even give up the first blood, to be perfectly honest, but if you're able to then kill the Viper, TP back, kill him again, I think it would be a win for Fnatic if they're able to do that.
Yeah, Viper's always got that weakness around kind of the early levels as well, honestly. You can still pressure, but once you really get the poison attack every extra level, you see the big play really come out for him. So, I mean, I'm intrigued to see how they actually want to try and set up the lanes. It'll be a big factor heading into this, because it's going to be pretty difficult. If you give TNC some breathing room, you know, Sven is able to find some farm in the jungle, really pop off on this hero.
We will see. All right. We're in series number 2 of 4. We are jam-packed with Dota tonight. I'm hyped.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night of some Southeast Asia Dota. It's going to be a good one, though, as we already saw a good first series, and I'm anticipating this second one is just going to be as good as well. As we're going to see already TNC kind of smoke up and see what they can do. They might actually run into Moon. No, he's just going to drop a ward and dip out. So, with this potential here, I mean, how are they... What is really the timing here for Fnatic? Is this just the win condition from the Morphling really try and give the space here to Raven, or?
I mean, I think Moon has to absolutely pop off, right? Like, he just needs to dominate. He needs to rotate around the timings of the Moonlight Shadow. I think that's going to come into the equation quite heavily for jabs. And if they're able to get kills onto the Invoker, that's going to slow down the Sven's timings. It's going to allow them to, you know, make more aggressive rotations into the jungle, block the stacks, maybe take them on their own. Like, if Masros is able to invade the Dire Tricamp area and take away a 2-3 times Ancient stack, that's going to go a huge way towards Fnatic's win.
I like the way you put it as well, if they're able to kind of make the Invoker's lane a game a little bit more difficult. Because you take a look, though, like, the plays that TNC can really have at the moment is pretty reliant on the Invoker having a good time, as Masros is taking a little bit of damage up top as well. Force out as much as he can. He's only got one set of Tangos, but yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, Pango being in position 4, you can make plays around the Rolling Thunder, but it is 70 seconds, and they don't really have another way to really initiate. Probably see Viper if he wants to go for this Atos. So is this going to be a little bit difficult for TNC to actually take fights if Armel has a rough game?
I mean, of course, like that's always going to be the case, but oh man, they've actually gone and killed KP. Yeah, that's what we were saying they needed to do, right?
Yeah, nicely done from them. Just the nice 5 blast set up into the arrow. Looks like able to find that one, and Jabs did get first blood. So they're actually, he's going to TP up top. So they just want a first blood, try and secure the first wave here from Raven. Denies a lot of it away from KP as well.
Yeah, nicely done. Tims is doing a good job as well, pulling the wave through the small camp, so no pull's going to happen there, especially with that start that KP had, giving up the first blood. It's going to be really important, but yeah, he's not even going to walk back for the experience. This is all going to go the way of Tims.
KP is going to get a little bit of damage up in the meantime. You see just DJ even got the Orb of Venom as well. Trying to see what he can do. I've seen a lot of, I guess, the fact that the Ogre... seen a lot of emphasis on not really picking up too many points, at least going for this Orb of Venom. Is it just to try to man fight the Pango?
It depends on what lane setup you've got, right? Like, if you're actually able to get into attack range and start right-clicking people, then sure. But there are some times where, you know, you've just got someone with insane attack range where it's straight up not viable. So you just need to opt around playing a little bit more defensively, maybe going for the boots, going for pull-throughs, things of that nature.
See, they've had a very good start, at least for the Morphling. I mean, he's about to be, in the next couple of waves, he's already level 2.5, which is a big factor. If Morphling can get that 3 without really getting contested too heavily, then he's going to feel like he's gotten out of a very tough spot for him in the laning stages. We take a look at mid. Moon looking to have a pretty good time. Both the damage at the moment, Armel, pretty even, which is actually dead even at the moment from Moon. So we'll see if he wants to go for some stats to kind of keep up with the Invoker, who's has looks like parts of the null coming out.
Yeah, that's right. And Febby's doing a good job with his pulls, making sure he's denying as much as he can away from jabs, but he's already at a little bit of a experience disadvantage, getting gone on a little bit here actually. Jabs might go for the kill.
Underneath the tier 2 tower, Febby's going to end up falling. Nicely done from Jabs, the point blank arrow, and just a little solo kill he gets, and now he's going to be able to take over some of the small cap.
Gabby's pretty low. He's going to be able to cut his way through, but I'm sure he's yelling out, please bring me back a salve. As he comes back to the lane, he will.
Should be able to give him a nice little heavenly ghost, but they get rid of the salve instantly. Nicely done, and they glyphed it up as well, so Jabs, he takes no damage for it, and now Gabby, honestly, like, he's not going to get a lot out of this. What's he got? Corey coming, another salve, but it's going to be a lot of resources wasted.
Did they even have any vision up there? No, that was just some predictions. Very nicely done by Jabs.
Jabs God. Just a hell of a player here. He wants just the pressure. I mean, Febby's got that level 2, so with the Bassi, we're just going to see him constantly kind of spamming out the region to keep Gabby at least somewhat afloat. But Jabs is already level 3, which is a big thing, and Mastros is doing relatively decent with his levels as well.
Opting for the 2 points in the Sacred Arrow, nice little damage boost going from level 1 to 2, but you would think he's going to start leveling up the Starstorm from now on. No rotations. Oh wait, never mind. Tim's coming through to the bottom rune. They're going to scout out that it's top. Will Moon be able to grab it? No, just denies it away from Armel.
Shackle didn't really have anywhere to land on, but Gabby getting ran down up top here. He's going to be able to juke through the trees and get back to Febby, but Dub's going to take a lot of damage, so they'll end up trying to turn their attention towards the Omni Knight. They got the hoof stomp set up. Jabs on a killing spree already, so you brought up that I guess kind of maybe taking away the Mirana from Tim's, but you also highlighted the fact that he's a incredibly strong Mirana player himself, Jabs, at the moment. I mean, 3-0, very solid plays so far throughout his laning stage.
There's nothing too bad that you can say about Jabs as a player. You know, in the past, you had Fnatic wanting to cater to DJ, perhaps a little bit too much at times, and you know, I thought they had a really good showing at ESL1 Thailand, for example. But ever since then, they tried changing things up. Didn't work so much, and I'm happy that this is the iteration of the team that they're going with for now.
The prize is mine.
It's a very good start to this game one. I mean, they got a 1,000 net worth lead very early on, but it just shows how strong at least this start to the laning stage has been. And Jabs is going to get a nice little D-ward as well. So now this is going to enable a lot of his rotations, being able to go from top to mid and just kind of running on that backside. A lot of the time, the Mirana wants to kind of find the angle on behind the tier 1 just for this arrow. It's going to give the mid lane Invoker a little bit less of a time to be able to react with how his camera is going to be positioning. So you see he's even got kind of a deeper ward as well.
Perfect ward as well, because you know with this that they're going to try and give him some sort of stacks, and you know that's catching essentially 2. You know, the one that it actually has vision on, as well as the fact that you're probably going to be pulling this stack closest to the tier 1 tower to the right.
Armel finds DJ coming mid. Meanwhile, Mastros just solo kills Gabby up top, but we'll keep our eye on mid as Urgo does end up falling. Mastros is going to be able to run himself away though. He's got 15 HP regen, so a solo kill on this Ven. Meanwhile, we see that Ogre end up dying mid. They were trying to set up for the 5 blast into the arrow combo, but wasn't able to find that. A quick tornado kept the Invoker alive, but
oh, he was so close to dying there.
He might still die though as Tim's comes over the swashbuckle, so hanging around for a little bit too long. We'll pay the price, but Tim's trying to snipe Febby as well. Sorry, Jab's trying to snipe Febby there.
To his credit, KP's made a decent recovery after giving up that first blood, but you know, 1v3, it was always going to happen. But Raven still looking pretty scary on that Morphling as well. He's already got his Morbid Mask, so he's not going to need to ferry any more regen out for himself. He's just going to be able to sit there, farm safely, and essentially DJ can start to make these rotations up away from the rest of the team.
Actually want to get aggressive though down bot with the Stampede. Allows the Ogre to set up for the stun. Well, that's all they needed to close the distance. It's a nice kill hunting KP. Meanwhile mid though, Moon a little bit low, doesn't have a whole lot of mana as well to be able to turn and help out Jabs. But it looks like it was just trying to get himself away from the aggression. So nice use of the Stampede there, nets himself a kill, but they do now know that Masteros doesn't have this, although Hoofstomp onto two. Tim is going to end up falling. Masteros is playing out of his mind in this laning stage, and now with the arrow clips on top of this Ven as well. Hoofstomp still on cooldown. Jab's going to come over. It's only 1 point up in the Starstorm, but Gabby, he doesn't have a stun for another 5 seconds here, and along with the Purification, that's on cooldown as well. Perfectly. Jabs, he blocks the retreat. This man is just styling on them at the moment. Armel's going to TP forward. Finally, they get the king, or do they? Fairy Fire? He's got the... Oh, it's not enough. The 1-2 sticks, unfortunately, but man, Jabs is... Whew.
That was so worth it, though. You know, kill on the core, forces the rotation away from mid, gives Moon more time to farm, gets him the rune. It's a double damage as well, so just wins on wins on wins coming up for Fnatic.
Looking good for them so far, as they've even got Raven, who's just having an incredibly nice time down bot. But I mean, for TNC, you see Armel, he is top of the net worth at the moment. He's actually going to be going into that Orchid that we saw last game as well from the position to Invoker. So trying to have the little bit of the catch and kill potential. You did bring up though last game that it feels very awkward to build up, you know, at least with what you're able to do with it on the Invoker. It's not kind of these cost-effective items that we can see kind of the Urn really utilize with the cost works.
Yeah, I mean, wait, are they even building an Urn at all on the team?
Viper's
okay, they've already got it on KP, yeah. I mean, it makes sense to go into this Orchid, but you got to be getting kills to get the Orchid. It's kind of like it's a little bit ironic here. Oh, they're going in onto Masteros, though. He might have overstayed his welcome for once.
He ran back into the Ven. Does that last right click with the tower? Yeah, he just ends up costing him his life there. So, I mean, that's a nice little bit of revenge they get, because Gabby, I mean, he's at least the thing on this Ven is that you've got this innate farming mechanic with the cleave. I mean, 4 points maxed out already, so you are going to be able to catch up. But it's still got to keep in mind though, like shutting down his lane, and it's going to be very obvious where this Ven wants to play. I mean, he's just going to try and position himself around the triangle, so this can give Fnatic, you know, opportunities to move in with the Mirana ulti and just, you know, place some vision as well.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
And that makes Masteros's role in this game so important, right? He needs to constantly be pushing this wave in to make sure that it is obvious when the Sven is off farming things in the jungle. And, well, we found an Omni Knight. That's one little bit of information. And now Gabby, he's going to stack up that Ancients a third time and start to farm it up.
DJ will end up falling. Raven's going to get a return kill by the bounty timing. So, looks like Zen comes over and snags. It's going to be 1 for 2 overall across the map here. As it will be a lot of pressure force on top, although KP, he's got a haste, and Masteros with the TP unfortunately not available here, so KP is just able to solely bring him down. Armel's even going to come over as well, just in case there's any more reinforcements from Fnatic, which are coming over in the form of the Morphling and also the Ogre as well. If they want to try and make something happen, and they will. They'll smoke up. We're on a showing. This is going to be... in finding the connection on top of KP, that's the issue though.
Yeah. Great timings on the aggression from KP, by the way. All throughout that, Gabby was just taking that gigantic Ancient stack. Now he's able to rotate through to mid. He's going to keep pushing with this siege creep. So right now it's just delaying as much as possible on TNC to make sure that they're not focusing on the Sven.
And TNC, they're looking to turn though. Armel baited out this now with the rotations coming through from the outpost. KP is going to get involved as well. The Moonlight to try and give them some space to retreat away. The consequence is going to be DJ's life. Meanwhile, we just see Gabby having a very nice time in the jungle. He's able to catch up, but ready they want to go back forward. Moon
nice disarm.
Finds the Omni, the perfect arrow combo as well. Tim's going to try and disrupt this with the Rolling Thunder. Perfect chain lockdown on the Mirana. You know, doesn't have any mana to be able to leap away. It's a couple of heroes down from Radiant, but you do see, you know, what's occurring across the map though. Like, Gabby's getting a lot out of this. You know, Morphling as well, trying to keep up.
He was in 5th, like, a minute ago. So he is just
Then.
rocketed up the net worth charts. You know, you might see a bunch of kills go the way of Fnatic, but they don't care at the end of the day. As long as the Sven's having a good time, that's all they're worried about.
The classic Sven game where he's had maybe a rougher laning stage, but you just stack him up, and then yeah, I mean even then, like his lane's so strong a lot of the time, but just the comeback potential that he has, it's annoying to watch sometimes as this hero is always around the top of the net worth. But the Centaur, I mean, he's in a bit of pain at the moment here as DJ tries to help out with the stun, but it's not going to be enough there as Armel is able to bring him down. Just going to give them an opportunity maybe to get some vision down as Febi's got a ward, looking to drop it a little bit more aggressive.
Tried to get that shackle in onto Armel, didn't quite connect. Probably would have been enough to take him down with that javelin. But, you know, the fact that they're able to do this, oh, are they going to find jabs here?
Rolling Thunder, jabs. Got 2 more leap charges to be able to utilize as well. He's juking throughout the tree line, and he's alright. Looks like still would have been a bit of a difficult kill to go for him. So Jabs is actually still going to go for the Yule Scepter, even though you're against his Ven with the for the 15 talent. The spell looks like Jabs mainly just wants to use it more aggressively, and I guess also what it's able to provide the Mirana with some regen.
I suppose so. I mean, with the Sven, he's most likely going to ult. He's probably dead here on Jabs. Maybe. Maybe not. Alright, nicely done. They're probably going to want to try and get aggressive, start making their first movements when he's got that Axe picked up. So maybe rather than using it defensively, just needing to make sure they're in prime position on some high grounds, and then use the Yule Scepter offensively. Pick off the Sven before he's able to get a BKB purchase for himself.
Top lane KP. They missed the shackle. They're still continuing to dive though. Moon's doing an immense amount of damage. Good old focus fire javelin, and yeah, the right clicks. Unfortunately, the Viper not really able to deal with that. Even Raven's trying to show up as well. So, I mean, they haven't found a tower just yet for Fnatic. It looks like they will finally be able to though, with the top tier 1 ending up falling here.
Good job. Gives Raven a little bit of, well, Moon snipes a few of those creeps there, but Raven still gets the majority of them. He's just going to progress into the jungle. It opens up a lot more farming space for him as well, so he'll be very happy with what he's been able to achieve. Anything big that we've got waiting? I suppose they're getting close-ish to this MKB. I think maybe Moon will be trying to pick that one up, only about 750 gold away, and then starting to make some action.
Yeah, it's going to be the hunt potential that Moon can have, and also just the Mirana constantly enabling you to be able to find these pickoffs. As though TNC, they're smoking up, trying to catch up Masaros here. This is very deep, and if he can get the Stampede off, he's also got some magic protection with the hood. But it looks like still Masaros is in trouble, as there's actually no help coming through from Fnatic. They'll end up burning out the Centaur. Now they want to try and look to take the tier 1 tower mid as well.
Radiant structures are fortified.
It's prime real estate this is right now, and they might even try and make an aggressive play into the bounty rune. KP's positioning himself for it, but I don't know if they're in this position to do it right now with the Rolling Thunder having just been used. But Armel, he'll at least pick up this bounty rune. Maybe find himself a Jabs kill. No Walker just yet.
So Armel can still hunt. He moves pretty fast. We'll miss the tornado, unfortunately. Even lands the arrow, but meanwhile mid, Febi's pushed up pretty far forward. Raven, waveform aggressively. KP is going to show, but I mean, with the protection of this Omni Knight morph, it's very difficult for you to actually try and pressure out Raven here.
Now we've got the Orchid here, though, onto the Invokers, so might be starting to make some more aggressive plays. Morphling is, of course, public enemy #1 for TNC. But I think they're going to be happy with whoever they find pickoffs for. Probably just only the Ogre they don't really care all that much about right now.
Gabby's going for Silver's Edge, it looks like. Interesting.
Precious bounty.
Do you like this this item choice here from the zone?
It's okay. Man, is he really going there? Wow.
Yeah, I'm
I'll be
trying
real, I don't like it all that much.
Yeah. Interesting.
You have learned
What's-
nothing.
Okay.
Maybe he's going for solo pickoffs, like trying to find the Wind Ranger when she's farming on her own, is the only thing that I can think of. Like, you use it to actually start the fight, then when you panic, Wind run away, he's going to be level 15 by that point, so he can just stun, kill her. Simple as that.
Well, for Dire, gonna smoke up, trying to utilize that ward that Febby placed deep previously, but unfortunately Radiant kind of a potentially, whereas DJ and Moon sitting behind the tier 2 tower. You got Masteros still continuing to play up top, who had a very good start to the game, 2-5-3 at the moment. He does have this blink coming out for the Centaur, so it looks like they want to try and maybe smoke up and make a play happen, as Moon also with the MKB.
Yeah, they've taken the entire jungle away from Fnatic, but Gabby, he might get caught out here. Smoke pops.
Forward, and now he's just going to get melted down. Gabby will pay the price, and now they're hunting for more. Masteros with that Stampede, although it looks like with the pings, they want some objectives instead. Maybe more guaranteed, an easier time for them, as they're just going to be able to walk it down, take the tier 1. KP is showing they can wrap behind, as Masteros is already set up at the moment with counter forward. He'll find the Viper, the perfect chain locked down. They're going to try and get on Febby, but slow stops him from getting in range for the Heavenly Grace. Now Viper's going to end up falling, and now Omni's going to pay the price as well, as Febby trying to disengage. Tim's going to be able to disrupt the fight with the Rolling Thunder. It is a 2-for-1 at the moment. Can they continue forward for more though? Armel thinking about running up the high ground straight into the hook stomp. Febby chucks out the ultimate, but it's not going to matter, as Fnatic, they punish them from trying to defend this tier 1 tower without the help of his Ven. Masteros played that incredibly well. The wrap round, finding the initiation on the Viper, and then Stampede slowing up the Omni Knight, so you couldn't dispel off the Hoofstomp arrow combo.
Looking very strong on Fnatic. It's clear that what they were looking for when they went to pick up Masteros is they wanted someone aggressive, someone that can find those cheeky pickoffs, and well, Masteros is playing his role to perfection. I mean, it all just goes to show when you're playing at this high level, a simple mistake like Gabby being caught out there where, you know, he was a little too deep, to be honest. He has teammates nearby, but I don't know, just being a little greedy and being punished effectively for it, losing mid-tier 1, few heroes, and now this game feels like it's in Fnatic's favor quite comfortably.
They are kind of posturing around the high ground ward that they have at the moment, Radiant. They're coming over, see how they can initiate Masteros, 2-man hoof stomp. The Shackle as well on top of Gabby, who's just getting shredded by the Wind Ranger, though with the stun, provides some distance, moves in trouble. Now Tim's going to roll forward as well. Arrow connects, but Gabby has got the rest of the team here to try and provide some distance. And now Armel with the Tornado, Morphling controlled up, has got the man to be able to get rid of the Orchid, but now he's just completely burned out of mana. And Raven, he's in trouble, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's 3 down from Fnatic. They even get the vision on Jabs as well. So it looks like this Mirana, can you retreat away? Armel's hunting. Actually going to try and go down to the southern side near the river.
Oh, he's got that Silver Edge. DJ is dead.
Nicely done. That's a big fight for Dire. I mean,
And that is... Oh, God Strength's just finishing, but they could probably still take Roach if they want it. I think wanting to just play around the safety a little bit, but... It happened like we were predicting before, right? Jabs, he used the Yule Scepter offensively onto the Sven, used up a fair few seconds, about 6 or so of that God Strength, just with that Yule's arrow combination. But still, not enough to be able to turn things around for his team.
Yeah, nice positioning. TNC just answering the request from Fnatic, trying to attempt to fight there. Although real quick, Radiant, I mean, they scout out Armel, who's pushing top with that deep lane ward, so Armel could be in trouble. Although Raven shows, meanwhile, Tim's just gets absolutely melted by Moon down bot. They're still hunting Armel top, is underneath the sentry ward. So Jabs has got set up, and now DJ can follow up with the Fire Blast as well. Does get a multicast, which makes things even sweeter. Although Armel, 2-man Tornado. Morphling should be able to follow up in a couple seconds with the waveform. Even Masteros showing up as well, just in case. And now, can they walk into Roche? Try it. 2 down.
Yeah, they very well could. Moon's got enough for his Blink Dagger, and he's obviously finished up his MKB already. Going for that solo pick-off potential. Looking to find the Sven if he can, but Invoker's the one that's going to be priority target number 1.
Well, Dire, they do scout this one out. Let's see if they're going to be able to get here to try and contest it. Sven, build strength available. Yeah, coming over, but Roche is falling pretty low now that Moon showed up with the Focus Fire. It's like this. Haven't gone in just yet. They'll give the Heavenly Grace out to KP. He's going to try and push it pretty aggressively, but Aegis, they've already been claimed here from Fnatic. Moon's going to be the one to pick that up, and he's actually going to go for a BKB instead.
Yeah, I can feel it. It means that, you know, with that second life that he's got, he's able to play hyper aggressively rather than just go for the singular pickoff.
They're actually smoking up. They don't give a damn that Radiant just claimed that Aegis here. They want to pick off, even though Gabby still hasn't hit that extra item that he's looking for at the moment. So they're hunting down Jabs, but this is incredibly deep here. Jabs stunned up. They should have the control and the damage to bring him down. Got the first duration, and they do so with the Armel Sunstrike. Now they're going to try and see what they can get. Controlling up the jungle. Bot's already pushed in if they want to try and link that kill up with an objective, but they do kind of have to worry about top as well, which Masteros is shoving the lane in.
Yeah, Gabby can keep himself down bot here. I mean, they need to respond to this, otherwise, yeah, they're going to be losing a fair amount. Pops it defensively onto the tower. Now look what happens afterwards. That's the big response, and this is exactly what Fnatic need to be doing. They need to be pushing aggressively, get the Bloodlust onto the siege creep as well, so this top tower is going to go down pretty quickly as well.
They're going to trade towers, although it does look dire. Thinking about offering up a defense as Tims and Cole are TPing forward. They didn't get that tower fast enough, and now they want to continue defending with the Blink straight on top of the Morphling, but Raven's able to get the Attribute Shift off, and now they still have the Stampede if they want to reset the fight. But on top of the backline, Gabby, he finds the Ogre, Master up with the counter initiation. Can they protect DJ? It looks like with the Tornado, however, it's going to clip his life, and now Mastros is trouble as well. Stampede's going to wear off so they can continue chasing forward for more, as Gabby will cleave him down, and now TNC. And even though they're down the ages, they are just looking to take these fights straight head-to-head against Fnatic.
Radiant's top tower
It's just this Sven, the terror of the Sven always being a factor. You know, he's got that lifesteal, so even when you think you've got him, all it takes is one or two lucky hits, cleaving off a few people, and suddenly he's still in fighting shape. He's getting damn close to that Ag Scepter as well, farming up this Ancients. And probably with this next wave, he's going to push through. Febby doing the good support thing, bringing it right to him, getting that extra couple of seconds that he needs. And there we go. We've got Superman ready.
Yes.
He's about to hit that level 20 timing as well. So paired up with the Agnums, he's going to have just a 7-second downtime. Or 7-second, sorry, cooldown on the Stormhammer. So it's going to make it very, very difficult to be able to control him through these fights. As we do see the Radiant gonna smoke up. They got the Aegis for another 2 minutes here, so really looking to try and utilize it. There's a couple of items getting picked up as well. Moon with that BKB.
Dire are scanning.
Scans on the mark though, so they're well aware of the positioning. If they can...
I'm really liking this item build from Raven. He's opting to go for the E-Blade first, realizing that right, before Sven's got his BKB, I need to make sure I'm popping this guy ASAP. He's going to have enough when he finishes this Ancient stack, and it's going to fly out to him right now. So I think that's the timing that they're playing around. As soon as that reaches him, and when they've still got the Aegis, they need to be making a play.
And they even get a little bit of extra sustain coming through as well with the Jabs mechanism, but Radiant looks like they're just going to try and push him bot die. They're just going to do the opposite, as heading to the top side where they've got a very good couple of wards positioned at the moment, so really wanting to try and posture around their vision.
And a double wave as well, so they're not going to be able to defend this. I think all TNC need to do right now is just say, look, they need to come and fight us. Fnatic say they need to come and fight us if they want to get maximum use out of this Aegis. So
Radiant structures are fortified.
They're going to do just that.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Cliff popped here, so TNC recognizing this, they're going to disengage. No one's hitting that bottom tier 2. Right by the bounties as well. Although Raven still hanging around bot. They haven't seen this at the moment. They don't have any vision at the bottom side, but they do also see with that lane ward. Dire well aware that they're posturing aggressively. KP's going to face check this. Takes the full brunt of the force with a focus fire, and it looks like KP's in trouble though. Febby pops the ultimate, and KB still ticking him down though. Looks like Gabby wants to go back in. God's Strength's going to get utilized here, but a nice shackles time for Moon. They can counter initiate forward as well. The Centaur, can they chain lock him down though? Sven is always going to be able to bounce back and forth with that Superman, and then we go straight on top of the Mirana.
They know Raven's here though. They know Raven, he's TP'd, but they've got the vision.
Still can fall. Oh my god, the damage from Gabby deals with the first life, and now Tims can follow up the Rolling Thunder as well. He's got a couple of positions to be able to bounce back and forth. Just Gabby's damage is so much paired up with the Alacrity, and now they found the Morphling as well. Bounce back once again. Mastro's going to try and disrupt the backline, but the real battle is going to be the position once as the quick awkward Raven gets out with thanks to the Mance up, and now they're hunting though. Mel Tornado's up, and Raven just nowhere to run to as this Sven. You can't kite him, and once again Master still trying to do whatever he can on the backline, but to triple for Gabby and Fnatic, they're going to end up losing 4. And I mean TNC, they've just been running them left, right and center across the map. The plays they've made, even though they've been down the ages, has just been so incredible.
Yeah. Perfect vision coming through from the supports, perfect timings coming through, you know, as soon as they can, anything that they can do just to get that extra 10 seconds out here, there, and everywhere. They're just funneling everything that they can into Gabby. and making perfect use out of that God Strength. It just felt like there was nothing they could do to stop him there.
And that's also a fight before Gabby picked up that BKB. So you were highlighting, but the E-Blade potential to be able to just burst him down. And now they're going to end up taking that tier 2 tower up top as well. And now he's getting even closer and closer. Although Moon, once again, finding a solo kill. So Viper's going to pay the price. Though he does have to be careful because Gabby's hunting and wants a little bit of revenge and an extra solo kill himself.
He had about a couple of seconds left on that Silver Age, but the bonus of having that as opposed to the Shadow Blade is that the downtime on it is about 5 seconds less, so he's going to probably try and go for another move onto it. Nah, he's just going to back off a little bit.
Take us.
The time.
Might be a good time for Gabby to go back to the Ancients now, actually. It's 27 minutes, so those tier 3 items are so much more effective in terms of a power spike compared from tier 1 to tier 2. Quiver's pretty nice.
But take that. Gives you a lot of burst potential. We're seeing kind of this Ven start to hold the Quiver now.
Yeah, I mean, 5-second cooldown, and your Stormhammer is a 7-second cooldown now with the talent, so you're gonna get it every time.
Just continuing to be a nuisance at the moment here. Tim's just keeping the lane shoved in. They've tried to hunt him, but unfortunately just that Moonlight Shadow wasn't enough there. And you see, I mean, TNC have been able to accumulate a 6,000 net worth lead even though they were down that Aegis here. And honestly, things are looking incredibly good for the boys on Dire. Is this do you want them just to kind of wait that next timing, which they actually now seems like they have with the BKB? I'm just a little bit worried that the win range has just been picking them off a bit too much, and I think this needs to come down to TNC just starting to group up once they hit that next item. It looks like they are going to, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like you mentioned, you're worried about them getting picked off. What's the way around that? Group together. You know, there's no way that Windrunner is going to be able to deal with all of you throughout all of that. You've got ways to deal with it. You know, you've got the Tornado, you've got the Deafening Blast, you've got the Lucky Shot, you've got the Omni Knight. It needs to be a perfect storm for Windrunner to be able to 100-0 anyone on the TNC roster right now.
You see Radiant, they're playing so passive at the moment. I mean, they didn't see anyone until just then showing top. And they're trying to play around what little vision they have at the moment around their triangle camp. Roche is going to be up in 2 minutes here, so we're going to have a little bit more back and forth. Although the next objective is going to be the bounties and the outposts up in about 40 seconds here. So we'll see if there is any contention coming through.
And they've even got the Yules on the Pango as well, so offensively being used against the win range, you would think, is the main priority for them. They drop a Sunstrike into the Roche Pit, not up yet, still a minute 40. But you can see Moon, he's gone on a bit of a mission. He's purchased up that Blink Dagger as well, trying to find out anyone farming on their own, but not going to be lucky. No one on his side of the map even.
See, KP just picked up the Blade Mail as well, so it's going to make it very difficult for the Wind Ranger just to focus down the Viper, but they're going to pop the Moonlight. In this high ground, who can they find though on top of the back? Mastros is going to be in trouble here away from the rest of the team. They had that vision to be able to not have a care in the world about the Moonlight. I know they're hunting for more. The detection coming through looks like it's going to be... I mean, they do see DJ. Just going to try and attempt the TP out. Get him. They can't. I mean, it now gives you... Yeah, and now with the gem on Tim's, like, you're just going to be able to kind of de-ward around the triangle camp, and that next big objective, Roshan, having the vision advantage here is going to make it very difficult for Fnatic.
We're still trying to go for these solo pickoffs, but there's just no one. No one's squishy enough, and I think Amel's been doing a good job of making sure he's sticking with at least one other hero throughout all of this.
There we go, just posturing on the high ground, exactly what they need to do. Control the triangle. It's like Radiant, they're going to lose, I mean, a second Observer Ward now, so they've only got one kind of around the bottom power rune section.
And they don't want to be there on Fnatic, you know, they know that the top side is where all the objectives are. You know, mid-tower, Roshan spawning in about 15 seconds, and then even the top lane, if they win a team fight, they can just go for racks.
It's a big power spot that TNC are in at the moment. You see they're baiting this high ground. You just got KP pushed up so far forward. A hero that's very difficult to burst down, but I like this play from Fnatic. They're going to wrap all the way around. Although even the positioning from Tim's is well aware of this. Smoke's going to pop.
Oh, they found him.
On the high ground, so Moon's going to show mid. They still want to continue to wrap through with the rest of the team. It's a massive wrap, but it looks like TNC, they are so aware of this.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Scanning it up. Didn't pop just yet, but you can see the one standing on the front lines is Febby, a bit of a
Dire's
sacrificial
turret has
lamb
been
here.
killed.
I mean, Jab showed, but they
Dire's
know that
bottom
Moon
tower
is mid,
is
so if they
under
actually
attack.
want to try and hunt, Armel's looking for someone.
Yep. They've got the timing on the smoke perfect as well. They're starting to make their move.
Yo, Sentry drop. Mastros is in trouble here. Still Moon hasn't grouped up with the rest of Fnatic as well. Pops Stampede's going to try and retreat away to the northern tree line, but it looks like he's in trouble. Just that poison ticking him down. Centaur's got a buyback though if he wants to rejoin them, but it looks like the rest of Radiant, they're going to dip out, try and get the lane shoved in. They know that Roshan, well, he's Febby scouted out that Roche is up, and they've got the timer as well.
Just look at the top side. Tim's is just cutting a path through the trees and Gabby's following him all the way. But God's Strength is still up for not that much longer, actually. Only about 10 seconds, so taking Roche now is a little bit of a risk.
It does give them a bit of an opportunity maybe to find pickoffs. So we see Moon hunting Armel, but you got to be careful how deep you want to go for this. They had a very slight window there to potentially get a pickoff, but rest of the TNC recognizing this, they group up once again and going to continue to try and, you see the lines drawn, hold that triangle camp area.
They're just going straight back. They don't care.
They know how important it is for, I mean, the farm around the Ancients to control the map as well. And now Moon, seeing if they can pop the BKB here, which is a 9-second duration for the Wind Ranger at the moment. What is Raven? He's going for the Scotty, so he almost does have this completed. See if he's going to be able to have that one by the next fight, but it might get to a stage when the God Strength is back up. TNC could just force it.
What's their vision looking like? They're just going to clip? No, Moon's not going to walk into that dire Tricamp vision just yet. So the Observer Ward that just expired isn't going to give them that vision, but despite that, they're still going to go for the Roche.
Dire's bottom tower is under Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah, I mean, the lane's in a very good spot. More importantly, mid, the lane to do a lot across the game at Dota is completely shoved in, top shoved in as well, so... I mean, yeah, you're going to be able to try and trade and get an objective out of bot, but the big price is going to be that second Roche. As Gabby will claim the Aegis, Armel has got the cheese, and now they're going to smoke up and try and link down to bot.
Yep. Just keeping these lanes pushed in as much as they can. You know, Tim's is going to be the one showing, and that's fine. He's got plenty of escape potential for himself. And a DD. Come on, man.
They got a bottle? No, they don't. Okay.
It's fine. He's just going hunting.
Well, KP's hunting. Fine jabs, gets a double leap on top of the Ul Scepter. Tims can follow up, however. Now that's no more leap charges. Where's the angle, though, for Tims? He might run into both of them, though. Runs up one. Doesn't actually have the gem at the moment. He sees Moon is going to try and pop the BKB into the TPR. Moon will be fine. The rest of Fnatic. Oh, Mastros.
Mastros found it. Oh, it's good, though, that he interrupted the TP. Now you know that Sven has to be on this bottom side of the map, and wisely enough, Gabby's starting to beeline towards the middle of the map as much as he can.
Let's give them, yeah, a lot of information that he's even going to show on the outpost here. So we'll see if Radiant what they can do. They know they're split up. An opportunity for Moon to maybe go for a pickoff. With the Sven not being able to group up. But you see Armel just kind of posturing. Seeing if the Wind Ranger's thinking about making a play by the bounties. But the arrow fort, they find Tims. He pops the Aeon Disc here. It looks like still, even got that Ul Scepter as well. So nice pick up of the Aeon Disc, just getting proc there.
Do you think that's a bit of a BM pause? Like, oh, what's that? You tried to get me? No, not this time.
Yeah, back into it. Yeah.
I see. Of course.
Of course. It couldn't be anything else, could it? It just had to be Armel lagging.
I accept this offering.
I mean, how did Fnatic come back into this, you think? I mean, they're down 11,000 gold. The fights have felt very awkward for them. Just, they're splitting up the map, but it feels like going head to head. Is this just giving time for Raven? Or how do you think these fights are going to play out?
I mean, it's going to be rough for them, right? It feels like, Raven's a good player, but it just felt like I haven't felt his impact at all this game. And as soon as they realized, right, we've been picked off a couple of times by Moon, TNC have just been this ball, just a huge bundle together that never has the potential to get picked off. And even more, Wind Ranger it's all single target focused, right? And he's gone into a Chrysalis, so kind of doubling down on this style. I thought maybe he might opt to go into something like a Hex or something like that, so you can at least, CC someone else while you're trying to burst down a secondary target.
Moon could be in trouble. Gabby's able to find him, has to pop the BKB more defensively here, and now with the TP out under the cover of the Magic Community.
Bash.
Is fine, but now off to the western side as well. Arma's got to be careful. They got the ward sentry combination. They're going to try and blink for from Asteros. Where's the fault? They get rid of the Lincolns. Arma protected thanks to the Omni Knight straight on top of the backline. Now with the BKB pop, he's going to try and look to turn with the Tornado. Meanwhile, Gabby going to work on top of DJ, but it's just a position 5 at the moment. They want a better target. Looks like unfortunately Centaur, no retreat capabilities. It's going to be dead in this bottom side. He's down for 60. He's got a buyback available. TNC, is that their opening to try and get something out of it now? They've got the God Strength for about half duration left over. You can just allow this vent to siege with 2 minutes left on the Aegis.
Radiant structures are fortified.
What do? They either force the buyback out, they try and make an aggressive play. You've still got about 5 seconds on God Strength, so that tier 3 tower should go down.
Backline, Tim's gonna get caught here, but the stun doesn't last for too long. Aeon Disc gonna get procced up once again. Now back inside they go. Buyback coming through finally from Centaur, but where's the follow-up stuns? Gabby, he just runs away, and now they can reset because they got a ward kind of outside the base here, so they're gonna be careful. Moon.
Moon might be dead.
I mean, Gabby without that ultimate, maybe lacking some of the damage she's thinking he needs to bring down the Wind Ranger there. So they buyback on Masteros, and they don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe they might try and go for a fake back because Rolling Thunder just came off cooldown, but you know, they're in a strong enough position that they can say, look, Orb of Destruction, that's a fine enough item. I want tier 4 items for Gabby. I want him to be an absolute beast.
See what else they're able to pick up. I mean, what? Timeless Relic at the moment. They need a couple of more stacks, jungle camps to be able to find, but this has just been a very slow, bleeding game where TNC just kind of continued to grow this net worth lead very methodically, and it's first game for them, first game for both of these teams throughout the group stages, so trying to just get a little bit of a footing here.
Prince's Knife, handy pickup. Sends it back. Who's going to pick that one up? I think it's going to be KP.
What do they even get? Illusionist Cape, one dire. Nice little flicker as well. Not that interesting. If they want to hold that or not. But I mean, there's a Abyssal Blade now picked up on Gabby. He's still got 15 seconds of the Aegis. And with top shoved in, they're just going to move into the mid wave here. Melee racks down. Full set of racks down. I mean, a Lincoln's Heavenly Grace, Alacrity. Sven, there is a lot of buffs on this man. He's also got that level 25 as well.
Doesn't have the Aegis anymore though. Just expired.
This could be a decent time for Radiant, knowing that the Aegis expired and he popped that God Strength. We'll see if they can find Tim's. He's already used a decent amount of his mobility, but once again, the Aeon Disc, they still find the stun, but Tim's is just so hard to catch.
Emote. Or DC again, or pause. Ooh, the Shaco, nice.
Get a neutral item. They're actually still hunting though, Radiant. Maybe thinking someone's farming up the jungle instead of retreating all the way back to reset with the team here, which they have done so far. But have Radiant got a gem so far? They do not. I'm really intrigued to see when they want to pick up a gem, because it's felt like Dire have had the map control for a majority of the game, and also have won the warding battle as well.
It feels like they're just having to play so much more reactively than TNC, right? Like all of their wards are just on defensive parts of the map. Whereas, you look at TNC, they're aggressive. They're trying to make pickoffs happen. Oh, they're even going to be able to take away this this camp from them, or sorry, this outpost. So, not going to get that experience.
Dire's top tower is under
Sorry,
attack.
they're going to split it.
Oh, it double damage. On Moon? He wants to seal it. He got it. But it could cost him his life now, though. Maybe they were baiting it potentially as Moon. I mean, he doesn't have a buyback. Just instant tip from Gabby. And I mean, that is
He had the vision, so there's no excuse there.
Well, that's rough to say the least, because now TNC just gonna walk it down. Wind Ranger, no buyback. See how they're gonna be able to hold this. No repair kit shenanigans that we'll see. So TNC, they can just siege it down with mid pushed in, Bod's getting shoved in as well, and just once again look at the steroids that they give over to Gabby, and knowing that he's not buying back, they want to try and end it.
It's so hard to kill anyone, even Armel, he's picked up that Shaco, so he's sitting at 3.3k HP.
They're going to try and move forward on Raven's illusion. KP just controlling with the ATOS, making it difficult for the Morphling to go on top of the backline, where we see Mastros going instantly with the double stun, but it's not going to matter because Tim's has got the follow-up with the Rolling Thunder, and now that Heavenly Grace along with the Guardian Angel just nulling out any damage that the Morphling's able to dish out at the moment, as Dire just running rampant inside the base. 4 down, Dire back on the Mirana. This Morphling hasn't felt like there's been much impact this game at all. It's just Dire. They played the game incredibly methodically, as Raven just goes back in on an illusion, unfortunately, so he's going to pay the prices. But he's still got the man to try and play around with that attribute shift as well if he can get back inside the base. But WinRange is about to be up in 5 seconds. Let's see if they can hold thing on Fnatic. TNC, they want to try and reset Gabby. He's still got the cheese in the backpack. Gotta be careful how far they push out here. Morphling, he's got that status resistance and the Heavenly Grace, but Armel can just go back forward. There we go. Hex the start. They got the follow-up, but now he's in trouble. Gets a force up for some positioning. Sven's going to fly through with the Superman, but on top of the backline. WinRange are getting controlled, so can't find the damage to be able to pick a hero off. Sven falling pretty low. Pops the cheese, but now with the shotgun as well. Morphling will pay the price, but the real question is can you bring down Gabby? Nice 2-man shackle. Raven, he needs to get in range to be able to do something. Actually, Lincoln's pops the replicate, so he's unable to utilize this through this engagement. Dire, they're sticking around a little bit too long here. Let's see if they want to reset, considering Fnatic going to be up in a couple seconds here. They're back in, though. Tim's once again with the Rolling Thunder. Just the constant chain lockdown, making it so awkward for them to be able to take these engagements. Raven pops the BKB, is going to try and look to turn to deal with Gabby, but they don't have the detection now. Once Armel instead, the BKB is about to expire. Gabby's back in, he's got the ultimate, the cleave as well. It's going to be able to bring down the WinRange, and now with the Abyssal Blade forward as well. Morphling falling incredibly low. Raven is going to waveform back up. You've got to keep in mind the throne's exposed as well, but what can they do to defend the base? Is Master with 3-man hoofs on, no detection. Once again, Gabby's able to turn. He's got the sustain coming through. Master's trying to utilize that flicker, but it looks like that's all she wrote. As TNC, an incredible game 1 victory. Gabby gets an ultra to end it 43 minutes in.
TNC Predator.
How fun of a hero is Sven, huh? Like, it just seems very fun and balanced, especially when you don't even need to worry about popping a BKB until they're all dead. You know, you've just got an Omni Knight to essentially provide that to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we got to go too much into this, Van. That hero is pretty nutty. It's the fact that you take a look what they give him. Like, you got an Omni Knight literally just giving him a free platter of fresh abilities with, you know, Purification, Heavenly Grace whenever he's in trouble. You got the Guardian Angel. You just got the Lincolns getting chucked on him. You got Armel with the Alacrity. I mean, it's just, man, Sven's already pretty nutty of a hero, and then you're just amplifying him even more.
Yeah, I think it was just fantastic team calls coming out from TNC, realizing that, look, the only way Fnatic are going to be able to come into this game is if one of our cores keeps getting picked off. They stopped going off on solo. They're like, look, we've got enough of a lead with what we've been able to get for Gabby that we don't even really, you know, need to split up the map all too much. Meant they never got picked off. They have amazing team fight, and yeah, I mean, Sven's gonna Sven.
Sven is gonna Sven, and TNC gonna TNC. Just the kind of the execution and the coordination that we saw, like exactly like you said, just recognizing how this game is going to just run it out in favor of Fnatic on being able to find constant pickoffs. So TNC, they group up, and honestly, you brought up in the game as well the props from KP's positioning whenever Sven was farming the jungle, and more importantly taking stacks around the Ancients to make it very difficult for Fnatic to be able to hunt aggressively, which we thought they might do with, you know, kind of the Wind Ranger, this Mirana, Moonlight Shadow, just setting up for the arrow potential. So, you know, big plays from TNC to really enable Gabby to be able to find the stacks and kind of come back after that laning stage, because he did kind of suffer a little bit from the Fnatic duo, especially Jabs having a good start and Masteros as well here.
Yeah, and I mean, people are going to focus on Moon dying for that double damage. Let's be real, they were down by like 25k at that point. You know, that didn't make a difference at the end of the day. They were in a losing position. He needed to try something, and what better thing to do than, you know, attempt to go for a double damage that might turn the game around for you.
Definitely. I mean, it's a play which, you know, I guess high risk, high reward. You know, you're gonna make something work when you're that far behind. But in the end, TNC, they're gonna be able to take game 1 here, 43 minutes in. Let's see if Fnatic are gonna be able to come back with an answer in our second game. We'll take a short break with game 2 draft right around the corner.